Ben, do you want to play a game?
I love games.
I know, it's like a puppy. You're going to like this one. Okay, what type of business am I?
Yeah.
I like to think on my feet.
Yep.
I like to do things in the moment.
Yep.
And I'm not great at forward planning.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, I think you, no disrespect, are a lot like other businesses out there. And the challenge we have, do you find that you're almost like Groundhog Day? Mm-hmm. It's almost repetitive, isn't it? Like you're coming in, you're sorting out the problems of today, you're thinking what you got to do this week, and you do that every week. But if you look back, do you ever think, wow, look how far I've come? Or do you think, if you're honest, it's about the same as it was?
Well, yeah, I often just think firefighting.
That's very good. That's very apt, yes. Do you think that's the best way?
No, I don't. And I don't think Rob Craven thinks it's the best way.
No, he doesn't, does he? I like what you did there.
Thanks.
Because what you now know is we've invited back one of our guests, Robert Craven. Now, he is brilliant at looking at how your business or any business could be a bit more strategic in the planning. So, get your pen, get your pad, make some notes, because a strategic development can make the whole difference to your business in the next year or 3. Over to you, Robert Craven.
Hello, my name's Robert Craven. I've been asked today to talk about creating and delivering your strategy. Strategy, the S word, da, da, da. But really, we need to understand what the S word means and how it actually works within our business. So, Robert Craven, Managing Director of the Director Centre. We essentially work with a whole load of mainly medium-sized independent businesses, helping them grow. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, one, the S word, how you actually make strategy actually work. How do you actually, because it's one thing writing a strategy, but virtually no one's actually any good at actually delivering the things. And if they do, they're surprised, and if they don't, they're not surprised. So it's got a really bad name. So I want to talk about how you create and deliver a strategy. Why am I so interested in this subject? I discovered probably about 20 years ago, I was working at Warwick Business School. I felt I did some amazing stuff in terms of selling and growing the part of the organisation I worked in. And nobody said thank you. No one felt it was any good at all. No one said, wow, you've done really well. And the reason was, I would argue, that essentially we just didn't measure anything and we didn't have a plan. And because we didn't have a plan, whether it happened or not, couldn't kind of be congratulated and recognised. So as a result, I actually never knew whether I was doing a good week's work or not. It came to Friday, I could never say, yeah, I've nailed it this week, I've done really, really well, so I can relax. So I had this big strategy aha moment. Why is this important for you? I fundamentally believe that the organisations and businesses that I work with that are successful are the ones that have made their mistakes on paper. They have sat down and they've figured out, where are we now, where are we going, how are we going to get there, what's going to happen to actually make that happen. And in the process of doing that, they have literally made their mistakes on paper. In the process of doing that, they've understood or they've learned or they've discovered how they can compete against the competition so that they can run the business that they really want to run. Because what I'm about and what this strategy piece is about you designing the business that you want to run. You designing the business that you want to run so that you can have the lifestyle that you want. Because I think that is all eminently possible. So this is running your business by design as opposed to by fluke or by accident. And in terms of afters, what you're going to get out of this, I'm going to show you where are you now? I'm going to show you how to figure out where you want to go. I'm going to show you how to figure out how to put that together. I mean, this is like a 3-day workshop in 20 minutes. And I'm going to show you the idea of a dashboard, because with a dashboard you can measure what you're doing. Now, you've all been on courses where people have gone on about various things. It's become ghastly, a bit like time management stuff where you never actually run it. But I'm going to show you a system and a process that actually works. So what am I going to show you today? I'd like to show you this through some steps. So step number 1 is, where are you now? Just that straightforward question, where are you now? Because if you know where you are now, then you can measure everything else from that. Step number 2 is the where are you going, okay? Because if you know where you're going, then you can actually start designing how you're going to get there. And if you know how you're going to get there, then you can decide what you need to measure to actually go on the way to go on that journey. So where are you now? Where are you going? How are you going to get there? What are you going to measure to actually make it happen? So let's go. Straight in. 3-day course, 20 minutes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So putting strategy into action. Step 1. Step 1 is really straightforward. Step 1 is you need to understand where you are now. And where you are now is about measuring score out of 10 for your financial performance, score out of 10 for your marketing performance. How good are you at getting the people you want to buy from you to buy from you? Score out of 10 for your operational performance. How good are you at doing the doing? That's the FIMO piece of FIMO PC. And then underpinning all that stuff is the idea of people and culture. How good are they? Step 1 of the strategy thing, okay, is we need to understand how good are we? How good are we really? Scores out of 10, where 10's a high score, 0's a low score for each of those 4 boxes. That can be anything from a 20-minute exercise through to, for me, I've been in the main board of a bank, and it's taken 2 days to actually agree, actually we think marketing's a 6.5 and getting better. But the point about this exercise, about how good are you, is that it's not about just the numbers that you write down, but it's about the conversation, so the key decision makers in your organisation can establish where are we now. And of course the great thing about FIMO, Finance Marketing Operations, scores on the doors, is at any time when I come back to see you, or your advisor comes back to see you, or when you have your monthly meeting, you can say, guys, gals, what are the scores on the doors this month? 863. Oh, 863. Last month it was 874. What's happening? Why have we slipped? Where's it going? So it's a great springboard for getting done. So putting strategy into action. Step 1, how good are you? How good is your business? And as I say, I think you should spend maybe upwards of half a day having that discussion and that debate. And then we move on to step 2, which is, what do you want to be? What do you want this to be? What do you want this business to be? And I would argue that you need to make your mistakes on paper. I would argue that you can do this by design, not by accident. Very few businesses grow by accident. They may appear to be a little bit haphazard, but believe you me, people have done the thinking behind it. And this is sometimes the piece that people don't work on properly because they don't like it. Now for me, because everyone's been on tons of courses, and one person's definition of mission is not the same as someone else's because they went to a business school, or they went to a college, or they read a book. So let's not get wound up on the definitions of the word, what do you want to be? I mean, I just call it sort of level 0, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. I then use the words vision, mission behind that. So, but don't get bogged down with the definitions. If it's a different definition, it's the meaning behind it that matters. So where do you want to be? Okay, at the top of that, level 0, top level, is the idea of the purpose of your business. When I started doing this a long time ago, purpose didn't seem to matter. Purpose didn't seem to be very, very important. But more and more I see businesses have a gap between what they do and their purpose. I'll explain in a minute. Okay. So Stephen Covey said, great phrase of his, start with the end in mind. And this is literally what we're doing. We're saying, you know, where do you want to be in 3 years' time? Because if we know where you want to be in 3 years' time, then we know where you want to be in 2 years' time. If we know where you want to be in 2 years' time, then we know where you want to be in 1 year's time. If we know where you want to be in 1 year's time, we know what we need to do now. So this Stephen Covey quote, start with the end in mind, is just a really good way of thinking about what's going on. So where do you want to be? How do you do this? This is, I don't know, it's about half a day. It might be a day for some of you. Some of you have nailed all this stuff already. You don't need to do it, but let's just give you some shape to actually make this happen, because I fundamentally believe if you've got what I'm about to show you on one piece of paper, then it's kind of the roadmap of the business that you want to run. Level 0, or purpose, is about why are you doing this. And why are you doing this is about, you know, what is our niche in terms of product, and what is our niche in terms of clients we work with. In other words, you know, we can't be good at everything, so what is it we want to do? But purpose for me is also about your values. And anyone who's known me for a long time will know that I didn't do much around values maybe 5-10 years ago. It didn't feel to be something really, really important. But as I've said, the more and more I've been in business, the more that I realise that the why we're doing stuff determines the what and the how. And whenever you get stuck in these, but how are we going to do it? We're going to do it by being faster, smarter, brighter, cleverer, easier. You know, if you go back to the why we're doing this in the first place, what is the business we're trying to create? Why are we doing it? What are our values for our business? How do we want this business to run? Then everything else falls out of it. So this is kind of like we call it the cascade. It's a dripping effect. So one, figure out what the purpose of the business is. That probably won't change. Hardly at all, a few words. And actually, I reckon you can do it in 10 minutes. 10 minutes with post-its and a flip chart. You can probably get within about 80 or 90% of what the purpose of your business is with one or two of you. And then you can refine it later. You don't need to give it to the consultants to go away for 10 days for them to sort out what your purpose is. This is about you and your heart and what you feel. So purpose, which is about niches in terms of product and customers. But more importantly, it's about what your values are. So an example might be we're here to significantly help local businesses to grow their sales. And our values are open, honest, transparent. Our values are we always go the extra mile. Our values are flexible and brutally honest. So it kind of, whenever you employ someone, you just look at your values, do they fit in with the values? Whenever you have a tough decision, like should we work with a tobacco company, or should we work with the MOD, or should we work with a garage man down the road who's got a funny reputation? Just go back to your values and make sure you're being consistent, okay? So I'm being very quick and almost glib about values. But I think if we're able to sort this piece out, then everything else falls out. So that's level 0, purpose. Level 1, I call it vision, which is, what do you want to be? We want to be the best in the West. We want to be the first. We want to be in the top 3. This isn't a heavily numbers-focused piece. This is far more about what do we want to be famous for. It's far more about we want to be known as, known for. We want to be, so where purpose is, this is who we work with and our values are this. Vision is far more about we want to be the go-to video company in Newbury. We want to be the go-to employer. We want to be known for delivering awesome food experiences right the way across the area. So if you know what your purpose is, you can define your vision. If you hit your vision, you hit your purpose. Level 2 is mission, or the numbers. People endlessly argue about definitions. Don't get bogged down. Question here is, if purpose is why are we doing this, and vision is what we want to be, then the mission piece is how do we know we're there? What are the numbers? So let's just take a time frame, say 3 years seems to be a good frame. Turnover, profit, cash, number of staff, number of customers, average value of a client, those kind of measures. So we're not talking about reams and reams and reams and pages and pages and pages. Purpose, 4 or 5 lines, why we're doing this. Vision, what we want to be, 4 or 5 lines. Mission, the numbers, how we know we're there, 4 or 5 lines. Simplicity and focus is what I'm after. If you hit the mission, if we hit those numbers, turnover, profit, cash, number of staff, turnover per client, then we hit the vision of what we want to be. And if we hit the vision of what we want to be, then we hit the purpose of what we want to do. Ba-boom. Level 3 is strategy, how we're going to do it. Now, the formal definition of strategy isn't just planning, it's planning while being aware of the outside environment. So that's what's going on in the world, what's going on for politically, economically, socially, technically, legislatively, environmentally. It's what's going on for your competitors, what's going on for your competition, what's going on in the market, what's going on for your customers. And strategy, the proper definition of strategy is planning and while being aware of the outside world. So strategy is the plan, how we're going to do it. brackets while being aware of the outside world. So how are you going to do it? By being faster, smarter, brighter, friendlier, ruder, higher priced, lower priced, buying the best people, 1 unit at a time, 10 units at a time, franchise, affiliate, by employing the best, by employing PhDs, by having a money back guarantee. How are you going to do this? How are you actually going to make this happen? And if you hit the strategy, hit the mission, hit the vision, hit the vision, hit the purpose. And what you'll find is the stuff at the top of this pyramid is pretty inflexible, is pretty rock solid. And as you come down, there's more flexibility as to how you make it happen. So we now come to the milestones, the steps on the way, the steps on the way. So that might be get to £1 million turnover by August. It might be get our 20th employee by September. It might be move to the new premises by, and it's starting to get difficult. And this really is where we start making the mistakes on paper or understanding the consequences. So now we've got the steps on the way. These are the things which we need to achieve by when. If we hit those milestones, we hit that strategy. If we hit that strategy, we hit the mission. If we hit the mission, hit the vision, hit the vision, hit the purpose. Game on. And then how do we actually measure those steps on the way? Now, these are referred to as KPIs or key performance indicators. This, can I just warn you, is the devil's spawn. This is the stuff where people their brains just blow. They worked in a big blue chip company. Everyone talked about KPIs and it was just the most horrible, dreadful thing in the world. And I want to show you a way that it doesn't have to be. So first step is you just need to measure, write down the things you need to measure. And this will be quite a long list. We'll come back to it later, but it'll be quite a long list. Everything from turnover, profit, cash, turnover per employee, rent, return on investment, training of employees, number of toilet paper, toilet rolls that you use, petrol, there'll be a whole, but some of those are obviously more important than others. And all I'll say at this stage is, if you take the ones which are more important than others, you can measure those, you'll hit the milestones, hit the strategy, the mission, the vision, the purpose. This is where everyone suddenly thinks, my God, this guy's become so theoretical. This isn't something that's for a real business. So what we've covered off so far, let's just recap, is 1, where are we now? 2, what do you want to be? Okay. And now stage 3 is what I call the wallpaper exercise, the wallpaper trademark copyright exercise. In fact, someone actually went into B&Q and asked for a Robert Craven trademark copyright strategy wallpaper. The strategy wallpaper looks like this. It is a roll of wallpaper. That is what it is. You take a roll of wallpaper, you take the board table or several tables, and you roll the wallpaper from one end to the other, right the way across, 7-8 feet. And on the very left-hand side, you put today's date and you remember, where are we now? You write down, where are we now? Scores, finance, marketing, operations, people and culture. You then map out from where we are now, year 0, year +1, year +2, year +3. And in year +3, which is today's date +3, you write finance, marketing, operations, people and culture, and you write down the targets that you hope to achieve. Once you've done that, you can start filling it in, and most people fill it in, and there's an example you can see here. Most people fill it in using Post-its, and they might break the month up, the year up into maybe quarters to actually understand what they're going to do, when and how, and if they do this now, they can't do that now. This exercise is fantastic because what happens is the marketing director says, right, we need 3 more marketing people here. And then the finance director says, well, if you need that, that's going to cost us £30,000. So if we're going to need an extra £30,000, those marketing people are going to have to deliver such and such sales. And then, well, those sales can't happen until then. Well, those sales won't happen then because we haven't got this project in place. So what you get is you get your finance, marketing, operations people discussing and talking and sharing what's going on. They actually end up buying into the whole package. So the FIMO PC exercise is an awesome one to get people committed and buying in. Where are we now? The where are we going cascade, what's our vision, what's our purpose is great, but it sometimes feels a little bit theoretical. And now we're actually talking the real nuts and bolts of how we're going to make this happen with our business. And yes, this isn't fun and light and easy, but what it is about commitment and intention and belief and passion and making sure we can actually make this stuff happen. This is hard work, but it is worth its weight in gold. So put your strategy in action, you work the wallpaper, you kind of feel you're actually getting there, but still I hear that voice in your head saying, yeah, theoretical big business stuff wouldn't apply to a small business like me. But I have to tell you, you're wrong. Because this is the final piece in the jigsaw is number 4, which is a dashboard. So you recall we talked right early on about finance, marketing, operations, people and culture. You recall earlier on, and remember I'm doing a 3-day course here in 20 minutes, so you might want to watch it again. We talked earlier on about KPIs, key performance indicators. We did that piece where you go purpose, vision, mission, strategy, milestones, KPIs, tons of measures. So this is what you do. You look at a piece of paper with tons of measures on it. Oh my God, that's dreadful. You then go, oh yeah, we're going to create a dashboard. Now the magic number is 4. You take a blank sheet of paper, you draw up 4 boxes. Box 1 is financial performance. Box 2 is the marketing performance. How good are we at getting customers to buy from us? Box 3 rather, is operations performance. And box 4 at the bottom is people and cultural growth. You then look at all those hundreds of KPIs that you want to measure. And for each of those boxes, finance, marketing, operations, P&C growth, you can select up to 4 measures. Up to 4 financial measures, up to 4 marketing measures, up to 4 operations measures, up to 4 people and culture growth measures. Let me explain. This is like the dials in the airplane cockpit. If you're flying a plane, you need to know how high, how fast, how much fuel. Everything else is detail. And this dashboard is exactly the same. This is measuring the big key stuff for your business. When you have your board meeting, Lord knows why you go on and on measuring tons and tons and tons and stuff. You just need the core basic measures. And if you want to get details of what dashboards look like, I'm happy, contact me and I'll show you what they are. But essentially, for a typical business, the financial measures might be turnover, net profit, return on investment, cash in bank. What's great about this is it's your measures for your business. This isn't what the accountants or the consultants tell you. These are your measures for you to hit your milestones, to hit your strategy for your business. We're only interested in the race that you're running and what you want out of your business for yourself. We're not interested in how other people do it, although it may be interesting. Your marketing measures may be number of new customers, average value of customers, number of repeat customers, and it may be number of proposals written. Again, the measures that reflect the key things you're trying to do in your business for your strategy, for your vision, for the business that you're running. This is your stuff for your business. Operations might be output per person, quality age of kit, defect rates, happy sheets. So again, your measures for your business. And the other thing you'll notice is that this isn't just about quantitative measures. This is also about qualitative measures. So I'm absolutely fine that in the financial box, it could be the accuracy, predictability of your cash flow forecast. That might be a very important measure. How would you measure that? Score out of 10, finger in the air. It feels like a 7 out of 10. And the final box is people and culture growth. What are the things you might measure there? The things you might measure there might be introduction of new ideas. It might be morale. How do you measure morale? Well, I can't think of a better way than just stopping the office, looking around and going, on a score of 1 to 10, how does it feel in here? I mean, it's as good as a survey of your employees. It might actually get you there quicker. You might have, lots of ways you can do it. Other measures of people and culture and growth might be percentage of sales to new product. It might be atmosphere in the workplace. Whatever it is that you think you should measure for your business is what you measure. So when I was 2021, I set up a cafe, a restaurant. The biggest measure that I had I'll just go through very quickly. The biggest measure I had in finance was cash, because I knew that without cash we'd go bust. It was cash turnover, net profit in that order. In terms of marketing, number of new customers. It was number of mentions, column inches, because we knew that column inches would bring, in the papers would bring people in. And it would be people coming in on special deals, and it would also be referrals and recommendations. Those are measures. In operations, number one measure was buzz. If you want something qualitative, buzz for your customers is an awesome one. How do I measure buzz? I used to come out onto the restaurant floor at 7 o'clock on a Friday night and just listen. And if I could hear nothing, it either meant we were open, bad news. Sorry, either meant we were empty, bad news. Alternatively, it meant we were full and people weren't having a good time, bad news. Okay, so dreadful. Whereas if I came out onto the shop floor and I could hear people laughing and chatting and having fun, it meant they were being fed, it meant they were probably drinking, it meant they were enjoying themselves and they'd probably come back, get high marks. And then in terms of people in growth, people in culture and growth, the sort of things we were measuring was new menu ideas, introduction of new ideas, innovation, and that we had a learning organisation. So you have a dashboard for your business. You have a dashboard which creates something going on for your business to actually make it happen. And still I hear you saying, this sounds like it's quite tough, it's quite difficult, but let me just recap and then add a piece on the end for you. So if we just move on, I can just show you what I'm actually talking about. When you put strategy into action, it's part of an away day experience for you and your team. So one, kind of where are we now? And that's the FIMO PC exercise, scores out of 10. How good are we? Really, how good are we? Are we sure? Where's the evidence? How can we support it? Second thing we're doing is, okay, so what is it we want to be? What does success look like? What does it feel like? What do we want to be famous for? Because the more we can articulate that, the easier we can plan towards making it happen. We can look at anything we're doing and say, does it fit in with the plan or not? Does it fit in with what we want to be? Is it consistent? Third thing, the wallpaper exercise, maybe an hour or two figuring that out, and then you create a dashboard. Still, I hear you saying this feels too theoretical. What I suggest you do with that same team of people who helped you create this kind of strategy into action piece is I suggest you have a template for your monthly meeting, and your monthly meeting is made up in lots of 4, okay, which goes monthly meeting, senior management team, firstly actions left over from last month, actions to be done, 4 key points about the last month, 4 key points from the finance director, just 4. 4 key points from the marketing director, just 4. 4 key points from the operations director, just 4. So we're keeping in 4s. The dashboard. 4 bullet point commentary on the whole finance, marketing, operations, people and culture growth dashboard. And then for each of your profit centres, profit centre 1, so it might be by product, it might be by building or unit, 4 bullet point report. Profit Centre 2, 4 bullet point report, Profit Centre 3, 4 bullet point report, and then actions to be done by next time. And if you put that, what I call State of the Nation report, in place on a monthly basis, whether you're a one-person business or you employ 100 or you employ 1,000, if you put that process that once a month you measure your performance against what you said you were going to do last month and what you said you were going to do on your big strategy day, then you can make the changes, you can respond really, really quickly so that rather than stuff being a surprise, it happened already. The lovely thing about the dashboard, just think about the dashboard for a minute, is in the dashboard you could put a traffic light system for each of your measures. So it was green for go, amber for okay, red for dreadful, and brown for the brown smelly stuff that's just dreadful. And you can identify literally in 45 seconds where the problems are and where you need to sort it out. The thing I love about this putting strategy into action model, someone new comes to work to you, and you can show them the purpose, vision, mission, strategy stuff and say, this is our purpose, this is our vision, these are the numbers we're trying to hit. 45 seconds you can explain that. Show them the dashboard. These are the things which we're measuring to make that happen. Takes 45 seconds. And you've got the whole picture of the whole business. And more importantly, with a kind of a dashboard and traffic light system, you can see where the problems are and you can do something about it now. Not waiting months and months and months. I'm saying the dashboard should be delivered, maybe 7 days after the month end. So you've got all the numbers, all the information, so you're making decisions based on what you're doing. So that's putting strategy into action. Should be a 3-day workshop, I know. Very, very fast. Suggest you watch it again. Delighted to talk with you some more about this. If you want more examples of dashboards and stuff, then feel free to contact me. So thank you very much for listening. I implore that you take action. This is all about you taking action. It's all about you understanding stuff and going and applying it. This stuff works. That's why I'm sharing it with you. So enjoy, think, make your mistakes on paper, write down your plan, and go for it. Thank you very much. My name is Robert Craven. You can find out more about me in the members directory. Thank you very much for listening.